Welcome to Real Talk Wrestling. I am your host, Josh. With me is the ultimate heel himself, Chris Koffler at RTW. Chris, man, how is this side, before we get into anything, you got to ask, how is the heel side going? You got your heel, Adam Page, your boy, you're one of your all-time favorites. He's heel. Rocky, he just turned heel today as well. The heel club is here, and they're here to stay. What's up, Chris?
We're here. We're making a lot of noise, and we're the best things in wrestling right now.
Man, so isn't that ironic? All of your faves just said, you know what? We're going to turn heel all at once just for Chris. Even the Bucks, they're back. Even, Rocky in 2024, we're seeing a heel Rock pull a heel promo on an ESPN show, basically telling all of the fans that we're crybabies.
No, just the Cody crybabies.
We're crybabies.
He didn't call me a crybaby. You know why? Because I'm not a Cody crybaby.
Hey, Cody. Hey, Dad. Do you want to play catch? Hold on, I got a tweet. We want Cody.
Listen, I think he took a page out of your book. Haven't you been doing the same thing on the show for years?
What?
Making fun of wrestling fans doing the same thing. He took a page out of your book.
I felt attacked because I have been leading this We Want Cody ever since the first night, just because when I see an angry mob, I like to join in. And then all of a sudden we want Rocky kickback. Not as big, obviously, but they started kicking back. And then my real test was going to go, what happens on Raw? The live audience, what's going to happen on Raw? Are we going to get We Want Rocky? Are we going to get back and forth? We got nothing on the Rocky side. It was basically dead for him. Nobody cheered for him. Nobody wanted him. It was We Want Cody. It was the Rocky sucks. I don't know if there was a Rocky die, but I was expecting that. I don't know if I got it. And it sounded like this is all work. That's when it clicked in my head. It's all freaking work, man.
Yep. Absolutely. It is. Like, listen, I don't want to dive too much, but they needed a distraction from everything that's going on, and I'll leave it at just that. And you needed a story that was otherwise, it was feeling a little tired, a little worn out. This completely rejuvenated this story. Like, listen, anyone that watches the show, and Josh, you know me, I've been more of a WWE casual for the last few years. I'm invested in this now. I want to see where this goes with The Rock and Cody and WrestleMania. Like, I think this has been great. It has gotten people passionate about WrestleMania when they've otherwise, we kind of look at it and, oh, okay, yeah, that's decent. That could be good. But like, people are fired up about this. He came in and did exactly what he needed to do. He got people interested.
Yeah, I think the lines are blurred between work and reality in this situation. I think once CM Punk was injured and everything just fell apart, I believe Rock did say, hey, I can wrestle this year. Well, Rock, you were supposed to do this, maybe interfere, maybe become a rep, whatever the case may be. But Rock's like, no, I'm going to wrestle, and I'm going to wrestle Rock. And then Cody can just go for second place, and I'll save WrestleMania. I think that's how it started. And then once all the kickback came back, it was you go on their Instagram post, it's nothing but We Want Cody. You go to their YouTube, it's the most disliked YouTube video in WWE history.
Yep.
You know, they see all this stuff. And I think Rock on Saturday morning, Sunday morning was probably thinking, wow, what happened to my people? I'm kicked out of Hollywood. Nobody likes me there anymore. Now I'm getting kicked out of my own company, which where I made my name, The Rock. People are rejecting me. Why? Because of Cody. And because people just want to be a part of a mob like me. Like, honestly, I don't care. I don't care either way. I was on this show 2 weeks ago telling you it was going to be Rock and Cody. And you and Clutch were like, nah. I'm like, not Rock and Cody. I mean, Rock and
Roman.
And you guys were like, wow, Cody's got to finish the story. I'm like, guys, what I said was no one's going to go back in 20 years and say, hey, WrestleMania 40, let's go watch Cody and Roman. No, they're going to say, let's go watch Rock. That was my stance. And It still is. Like, it's a bigger draw.
It is.
But I saw everyone back Cody, and I'm like, I'm on it too, baby. Let's do it. Because I'd rather, finish the story. But in reality, the better story, the bigger story is Rock and Roman. And where I was going with that is they messed up so bad. Now they're trying to backtrack it by not letting Cody pick someone officially. He did say on Instagram today where he made a decision.
Yep.
It's going to now be a triple threat match. There's no way Cody gets pivoted to Seth Rollins. It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
He's already beaten him 3 times. Cody was on it. The whole thing, if you really look at everything, nothing made sense. Cody came out and said, I want that title. I want to take everything from you. I'm taking that title. Just not at WrestleMania. Well, then when? So you made Cody look like a freaking moron.
Yeah.
And then what, Chris? Then what happened? What's the next timeline thing?
Yeah, it's hard to figure out. That I feel like they're almost backed into a little bit of a corner here now, because either you go against the match against Roman, and then finish his story, and then whatever, and then that's done. If they go the Rock and Roman way, you have a big match there. And then if I don't know, is the Rock one and done? Do we know if he's going to be one and done? Let's say he's not one and done. What if, as a part of Cody's story, he then goes on and he fights the Rock, conquers that? That's the next step in his story to get back to Roman, and then eventually win the title and be. I mean, that would be the hugest. Like, that would make all this time that we've been waiting. Because, like last year, I was like, oh, I really wish Sammy would win. I knew he wasn't, but he was heavily involved in the story, and it would be cool. It was really going to look cool if Drew was going to win at his Clash at the Castle. There's all these points where I'm like, all right, it'd be good if it stops now with the Roman side of it. And then we got the thing from Paul Heyman, oh, we're only in the 3rd inning or 4th inning or whatever. And we're like, oh, man, we got so much more to go. And I think that gave everyone like fatigue for this whole Roman bloodline storyline. And like, this has been the most exciting thing to happen to the bloodline storyline or anyone that's involved in it in any way, shape, or form since probably Sammy, Jay, and Drew were going for those titles. How long ago was that now? But there's somewhere you can go beyond WrestleMania with this, where it would keep things it would make Cody feel even bigger. The bloodline story, it would make sense for it to extend. If they're trying to get Roman to the point of having the record before he drops the title, this would be a way to extend it. The only issue is, like you said, what do you do with Cody right now at WrestleMania if he is not involved in a match with Roman? I don't know where to put him at that point.
Yeah. What they did, what Rocky did, was tell us that the Royal Rumble is irrelevant. It's irrelevant because if you win, you're supposed to main event.
Mm-hmm.
Main event the entire show, the entire weekend. And Rock's like, nah. Like, you weren't even in the Royal Rumble, Rock, and you act like you won it. Should be Cody's choice. If it was logical. That's why I don't think it was a full-on work. Because if it wasn't a full-on work, Cody would have never said, I'm picking you, Roman. I'm taking the title from you. He would have never said any of that. But the fact that he did leaves it open-ended for this either triple threat match or what I think should happen. Roman wrestles 2 nights. Headlines night 1 with Rock, night 2 with Cody.
Yeah.
I mean, he can beat Rock, and then he gets, like, Cody can say, hey, I'm wrestling Roman in the main event. I won the Rumble. I earned this shot. Sorry, Dwayne. You can fight him in night 1, or you can fight him whenever you want, but you're not getting my main event. And so then The Rock's like, oh, if you're really head of the table, whatever. Like, I think that it will be either a triple threat or a double main event. I'm hoping for the double main event. I hope Roman wrestles twice.
No.
What would you prefer if that had to be? If those are your choices, either triple threat or 2 nights.
It would be the 2 nights. I don't know that I'm interested in a triple threat with the 3 of them, because I feel like they're intertwined, but yet their matches need to be separate. I don't want to see a triple threat. I'm less interested in a triple threat. I either would be up for your idea of a double main event or figuring out something for Cody and then just making it Rock and Roman, and then have Cody, like I said, go face The Rock later if he's available, circle back and hit Roman later. But to your point, it makes the whole Royal Rumble pointless if he doesn't face Roman somehow. Then from this point forward, the Royal Rumble is completely pointless.
Useless. And it doesn't make any sense to give Cody that spot. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. We have a couple more weeks, of course, until even Elimination Chamber, which that's irrelevant now.
Yeah.
If Cody has to wrestle Seth and then Rock and Roman, then what's the point of Elimination Chamber for the men? What are we doing? It's just a waste of time. I feel bad for Seth. You watched some Monday Night Raw, and then we're going to go to AEW, people, promise, after this. But you saw Raw. They were booing. They were trying to hijack the whole, segment. And Seth's sitting there like, damn, I'm not good enough for these people. That's how I would feel if I was Seth. Like,
no.
Hey, do you guys want this match? Boo! Like they're literally booing him.
Yeah, because they don't want that. They want to finish their story.
And Seth has been so good, and they just put him out there to get crushed every single time.
Yeah.
New superstar. Feed him to Rollins. Rollins can get beat again. Now he's a second-hand champion. You got Roman on SmackDown, calling it the second place trophy, calling it the loser's title. Basically just degrading this title, which you want Cody to go wrestle for. It's just the whole company right now is just in shambles. And another company is in shambles as well, but they're trying to get themselves back up. They have some big business coming up. You nailed that prediction, Chris. I texted you right before the show. What's the big announcement? And you're like, probably some special show, like a winner is coming.
And I said a special show where?
In Boston.
In BOSSton.
Yeah, yes. Boston. Yes. You think I'd be more excited? You think I'd be happier about this? You think I'd be like over the moon that Mercedes Moné is returning to my television?
Yep.
Yeah.
No?
Listen,
you say that now. I know you. I can see it in your face already. You can't even hold it back. You're going to mark out because you're going to be so excited. She's finally back. She's going to be on your TV every week for the next 3 weeks after that, and then she's going to disappear into the women's division. But for those 3 weeks, it's going to feel really good.
Those 3 weeks. Listen, the women's division right now in AEW is awful right now. I think I'm over Toni Storm, which she's doing great work. I'm just saying I think I'm over the whole act. I want to see someone more than a Deonna Purrazzo.
You want to see a new fresh face.
We're going to see a new fresh face, but where does she fit into the situation? Is Mercedes going to come in and wrestle just dream match? Oh, Mercedes versus Riho. Or is there going to be some direction to Mercedes? Is she going to say, hey, your first main person is Thunder Rosa? I don't know. Just throwing a name out there. Like, that's your first. You have to have a feud.
Yep.
Or is she just going to come in and, she's wrestling Sky Blue on Rampage. Oh, and don't worry, next week she's going to be wrestling Ruby Soho on Collision.
I feel like she's too big to be relegated to Rampage. Now, if they want, she's got to be on Dynamite, and she needs to be on Dynamite every week for like 3 months straight. She has to be on. Like, you cannot bring her in and put her on Rampage and put her on, I can't even think of the Friday night show right now.
Rampage.
Or is that is Rampage. Collision. Excuse me. She can't come in and go to Rampage and Collision. There's no way. You got to put her where the viewers are at. She's too big of a name right now to just ship her over there.
How long do you think she lasts in that company? Let's say she signed a 3-year deal. How long do you think until she's back? Like out?
Until she's out? A year?
A year? Dude, they're not going to be able to handle someone like that. They don't have enough people watching their live shows.
Yeah.
I don't know if Mercedes is just because the reason why she went to AEW reportedly is the money. WWE didn't want to pay her enough. She said, okay, I'll just go to the person that will pay me. So is she in this for the money or is she in this for the passion? People say she's storyline driven and she quit WWE because of the direction and because of the disrespect her and Naomi had. She was crying on the floor at the WrestleMania. Remember that?
Yep. I remember that.
So she's going to go to a place like AEW where the women's division is a disaster. No one knows who's who and what's going on and why Sky Blue all of a sudden is Sky Black, and we don't know where Julia Hart's been, where did Chris Statlander go. It's just an interchangeable women that we don't know who's this and who's established, who's the top girl, who's the bottom girl. It's just scattered everywhere.
It is. But I think that kind of happens.
We're going to trust Tony Khan to make good stories for Mercedes, and we expect her to perform in front of 1,200 people. Because that's been happening. They've been getting down to 1,900 people, 2,500 people.
No.
It's not, like last night, I'll say this. Last night's show was phenomenal.
Yep.
I think that the crowd was amazing. It was 5,000 people. And I remember thinking, I didn't tweet it out, this is AEW. Last night's show was AEW at its core. It was the best Dynamite in months by far. And I don't want to keep on hounding on this Mercedes thing because last night's show was so good. But how is she going to react when it's 1,200 people? Or when it's like nothing, you know? How is she going to handle that?
That's going to be tough. But real quick on that, you're saying that last night's show was really good, which it was. And that feels like AEW. The AEW that we know, I don't understand how every once in a while, I knew going into last night that last night's show was going to be good. There was some build around it, some direction. But I don't get why they can't do that. They're showing that they're still capable of that. So why can they not do it on a almost weekly basis? It may be hard to hit every single week, but it should be the opposite of you hit almost every week, and then every once in a while you have an off week is fine. So they're still capable of doing it. It seems like they put more time into the show. But they will for the BOSSton show as well. I don't know why they can't hit that every week. But for the Mercedes thing, that's what I'm saying. Because what are they going to do if they only have something for her to do for a little bit? And the women's match, they've moved it out of the 9:30 slot, which is good. That's good that they've done that. I think they're putting them closer to the 9 o'clock hour. It seems like more often, which is good. But I really think they need 2 matches every Dynamite rather than just, if we're ever to care about the women's division, you know what I mean?
Then get some good performers because they don't have any. They
have some decent performers. They just don't get a chance to perform. Some of them are not bad.
But I don't care.
Sky Blue is not bad.
We don't care about Sky Blue. But what does she talk? What's her mission?
But that's what I'm getting at. I was saying, give them some TV time so that we can care about them. It's not that they have a lack of good people to put on TV. It's they don't give them the time. They need more than they get one 10-minute match and one 30-second backstage segment per week. And then that's it. It's hard to keep up with what's going on and who's who. They really probably need about 2 matches a week. 2 matches and maybe 2 segments. I feel like at one point they were getting that and there was things going on with the women's division and we could keep up with it. But when you have one match, think you have 10 minutes a week. 10 minutes a week to progress a whole division. That's not enough time. 10 minutes is not enough time for me to care about what's going on.
And what are they going to do with Mercedes, though, in that time? Is she going to be the only woman used? No, they're going to make a segment for her, but who gets bumped? There's not enough time. I hate to say this, and I don't understand why Collision is so bad in the dumps. And what I mean by that is, yes, the ratings, but the people that you book on this show. There's open spots for so many matches for the women division as well. But instead we have no-name Joe with no entrance, no nothing. He can't even do a backflip versus like Jon Moxley. It's like, why are we watching this match?
Yeah,
what's happening here? Why can't we have real legit stories going on Collision? Why can't it be their SmackDown? Why can't it be? What did I say? It went straight to just a Rampage show. Yep. Exactly what happened.
It's a bad time slot. Like you said, I'm in the same boat as you. Friday night and Saturday night, I'm just not in a wrestling mood. That's different. I like wrestling on the weeknights. Monday through Thursday is where I would prefer to watch my wrestling. It never really stood a real chance. But like you said, use that chance to get other people an opportunity. That's what I don't get whenever we get these little squash matches or random warm-up matches. Like, I don't personally care about a warm-up match 2 weeks out from a pay-per-view with an obvious winner. If you have Jon Moxley versus Joe Blow, like you said, when that match comes on 2 weeks before a pay-per-view, because Jon Moxley's your number one contender and he's going for the title and he's facing local hero Joe Blow, I don't even watch. I don't pay attention. There's no real story coming from that. I don't think any higher of Jon Moxley for beating up some local jobber or whoever it is, or some guy that like he's about to fight for the title because he's at the very top of the card going for the highest belt in the company. And, oh, you're facing the guy that, hey, if we're bringing rankings back, if they did a full rankings, this guy's ranked like 57 out of 60 wrestlers. I don't care about that match. Use that time instead. If that's all you have, put 2 other people on that need some airtime, that can prove themselves so that we'll care about more people. And I think that's something they could do to make the show better on a week-to-week basis. Don't give us this filler time with these matches that have no impact towards the story, that give you zero build that you're not even going to remember by next week or maybe even by the next day,
Mm-hmm.
So...
Speaking about remembering, though, I'm going to remember a lot from last night's show. There were some pretty good spots, some pretty good matches. The first match, of course, Adam Page and Swerve, highly invested in that.
Yep.
There was some good and bad in the match, mostly good. So we're going to talk about the good. We won't talk about the table flop or
it was hilarious,
or the Weekend at Bernie's summoning or whatever King Nana Prince Nana was doing. That was a ridiculous spot. Yeah. I'm sorry. But everything else was pretty good in the match. Wasn't too intense. I thought we were going to get bloody. I thought we were going to get nasty. AEW's toned down on that. And guess what, people? Spoiler alert, at the very end of the show, when there was blood, it was so much more impactful. Yep. It was so beautiful. It was a very, very if the opening match started with blood like it usually did back in the day, and in the middle match, that wouldn't have mattered as much as the Bucks covered in blood. We'll get to that later. Back to this match. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I knew it as soon as it was 10 minutes in and no one did nothing. They didn't do nothing to each other for the first 10 minutes. I'm like, yep, it's going to be a draw because they can't go 30 minutes straight. Did you notice how slow it started, how they did nothing at the very beginning of the match?
Yeah, I was kind of picking up on that. Because I was sitting there wondering, I'm like, who wins this match? Like, I don't understand from a story point, because I was thinking this story is lending itself to being a triple threat. So I'm like, who's going to go over? Yeah, I thought it was a little slow, and then I got your text. This is definitely setting up for a draw. I'm like, that's the ending they're going for sure. And then for about the next 10 minutes, I was, paying closer attention and like, yep, that's definitely what they're doing. Because this match they haven't really done anything too crazy yet. And we've gotten past the 15-minute mark. So yeah, we're probably going to get a draw out of this match, which makes perfect sense. Like, I was happy with the draw in that match. It was good.
It didn't make much sense to me because if you look at the AEW rankings, Swerve was 1 and Page was 2. The very end of the match, Swerve, the heel of the story, the real life heel. Like if you look at what he's done, broken into houses.
Nope.
He's the heel. He asks, hey, Paige, you know how this goes? 5 extra minutes. Hangman goes, ha, you were supposed to beat me if you... Wait a minute. Swerve's 1 in the rankings. Shouldn't it be flipped? Shouldn't Hangman have to beat Swerve to get in? Whereas Swerve just maintains his spot at 1?
I did not realize Swerve was 1. I thought Hangman was 1 going into that match, but I didn't really look.
Yeah, Hangman was definitely 2, and Swerve was 1.
Then yeah, that doesn't make sense.
How could Hangman be above him if Swerve beat him twice already?
I don't know at what point they restarted the ranking system though.
Okay, gotcha. But
are they taking into account those past matches, or is this starting from 2024 moving forward, or is this from like last week, or like, you know what I mean? I don't know when they started them all up again.
No one knows. But I do know this: we have an awesome triple threat match. Joe. I read this and I kind of agree. Joe seems secondary. Joe doesn't seem like the main important person in this story, in this matchup at all. It's Swerve and it's Adam. It's actually Swerve. He's the most important person in this whole story. And I was thinking in the shower maybe about 6 weeks ago, thinking, man, nobody does number one contenders matches. They used to have those on pay-per-view, like in the WWE, WWF at the time. Like, this right here is like, Bret Hart versus whoever for the number one contender for the. Nobody has those anymore. And I love those. So this should be the story. Two men trying to get to Joe. Now there's a three-way set. Now we'll get Joe back into the story. So I think this was great. Joe was pissed. Renee came back there like, you're in a triple threat match now. That means you have 33% chance to lose or win, and you can be not pinned. Like, they give you the whole fucking explanation like we're idiots.
Yep.
And then Joe goes on this crazy, mean, very mad promo, which he brings the intensity to the show. I enjoy it. I like this. I like where we're going here.
Yeah. I'm looking forward. On this side, this main event scene, I am looking forward to a triple threat. This one makes a lot more sense. I like the people that are involved. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to attempt for the first time in 6 months, 9 months. I'm going to attempt to watch an AEW pay-per-view live.
Is it March?
This is a big reason why is that match.
March 16th?
16th.
When is it? I don't know when Revolution is, people. Can someone tell me?
I want to say March 3rd.
March 3rd? It has to be March 3rd.
Yeah, it's a Sunday.
3rd Revolution. Okay, so it is a 3rd, right?
Yeah.
All right. I will make an attempt to watch it as well because I definitely do want to watch Sting's last match. That's the most interesting thing if we can just pivot to there because I don't really care what the BCC did with the Luchadors. I don't know what's happening. I don't know who these people are. I don't know when they became AEW wrestlers, these Luchador people with the gold mask. I don't know who these people are. Yeah, I have no idea what's happening. You asked me, do I know? I'm like, no, I have no idea. I thought this was – because whenever Jon Moxley comes out, which he did, I tend to do other things. I think Jon Moxley is one of the worst wrestlers in the history of the world. I came back and I see these luchadors. I'm like, oh, cool. Squash match for the 9 o'clock hour. Makes no sense, but here we are. We're in AEW world. Why have a perfect show? We had a perfect opening and a perfect ending. In between, we had BCC versus Luchador Jobbers, and then we had Jericho. It seemed like a sandwich full of shit, but it was like public sub. It was a public sub. The bread was so good. But then you ruin it with your chicken tenders and your little ranch and your little barbecue sauce, whatever you put in your chicken tender sandwich. Little babies. By
the way, they're on sale this week. Make sure to pick one up.
That's who The Rock was calling out. You crybaby, Publix tendies, bitches.
It's probably what it was. He got stuck in line behind someone and he's pissed.
Oh, can you cut it up for me and put it in a bag and do this thing? I'll get one tomorrow.
Good.
Anyway, yes, the main event of the show. We all knew Sting was going over. I didn't think he'd be pinning Ricky Starks, but
I didn't either. That part surprised me.
I thought it was gonna be another spot where like maybe he jumps through a table on Big Bill and just lays there on top of Big Bill or something. That's how I envision every Sting match ends. Because he just does crazy stuff. That's his new gimmick. Hey, I'm crazy. Hey, I'm old.
Let me ask you. So last night he jumped off of like the little tunnel area again, down onto the wrestlers.
Yeah.
March 3rd. Does he go from there again or does he go higher? Man, if that's 12 feet high, let's say, is he going above that? Is he going to go 20 feet?
I don't understand what they're trying to do to Sting.
Is he going to go Steve Blackman, Shane McMahon at what was that, Backlash or whatever it was? Is he going that high? Is he going Undertaker, Mankind, Hell in a Cell high?
He could. Who's going to take that bump? Is it going to be Matt or Nick or both? Maybe Cutler, Brandon Cutler.
There you go. He's going to come out to try and interfere, and instead he's going to get hit with Sting falling from 20 feet in the air, 25 feet in the air.
That wasn't even the scariest part of that match last night. It was, I don't know if you caught this. It was at the end of the match. Big Bill just clotheslined the hell out of Sting outside of the ring. And Sting just took a massive bump. It was just, stiff as hell. Sting took a huge bump on the outside. Just, are we trying to make it so he's dead before the match?
Yeah, I did catch that, and I saw after Dynamite, Tony went out there to go check on him when he was just laying on the ground. Do you see that video?
No, I did not. I gotta see it. Dude,
just look up Tony hugs Sting, because Sting is laying on the ground, motionless, on the mat, motionless, and Tony comes out to talk to him. I think he probably asked him something like, "Are you okay?" or something along those lines. I'm sure you can't tell; it's from so far away. And then you can tell Tony gets super excited, and he like jumps on him and gives him like a big old hug, like a kid seeing their parent come home for the first time in a week from a business trip or something. Like, he was just so excited. Hugging Sting, probably found out, okay, he's okay. We didn't just kill him here right before the pay-per-view.
I don't know how many more matches Sting's going to have before the pay-per-view.
Maybe we should make it 0. Listen, we're a month out. We can avoid all matches at this point.
There's nothing else for them to do unless they want to defend the titles again. Unless Sting's like, hey, I always wanted to wrestle so-and-so before I go out.
If they want to get one title defense. I mean, are they going to be able to defend their title? Are they going to hold their titles on the way out?
I'm asking. I was going to ask you who wins the match. Like, do we see the Bucks actually go over on Sting on his last match, or does Sting retire as the champion, and then Darby has to find a tag team partner, or they just give it up?
I think they should lose it to the Young Bucks. Because what is customary? It's customary in wrestling. When you go out, your retirement matches, you put somebody over. Not that the Young Bucks need to be put over, but it would really elevate their current character of the EVPs, who are jerks. It would really, really set them up as like, because let's face it, they haven't really been on TV. They haven't really been around. They needed something. They needed a character shakeup. I think this is perfect for them. That would elevate those characters a lot. And then it would be him putting someone over. What's the point of them leaving with the titles? People don't really do that.
Taker won his last match.
Yeah, but was he walking out with a belt?
If he wanted to, he probably could have.
But he didn't.
No.
He didn't go win a belt and say, I'm going to go 1-0 and then I'm retired. You know,
Edge did for a little bit,
but he's back now.
I know, but his last match before his retirement was he won at WrestleMania. Now,
was his retirement though planned?
I think they told him like, you got to retire, and he's like, one more match.
One more match.
I don't know. Listen, I think if the Bucks win, that's great. I think if Sting wins, it's great. It's well documented. Sting gets to choose the outcome, the finish. So it's all on Sting. The Bucks don't need it, but I can see where they'll take it. If they win, they have to win clean, because, having Sting go out on a very effed up finish would suck. You would need. Yeah. I feel like everyone who goes out in a retirement match, whether it be Ric Flair or whoever, they go out clean, just because they're old and they're done, they're tired.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see them winning as clean as they can, because them having like somebody, let's say Jack Perry or somebody, come in and help out or be a dirtbag for them, because I think this is where it's going. They're going to build a super stable of goons because of the EVPs, and Jungle Boy fits that douchebaggy era of them, or maybe they can just throw in all their California buddies in there. I don't know. I don't know where we're going here. I just know that the Bucks we saw last night was the best version of them. They were aggressive. They were angry. They didn't play any games. They weren't smirking. They weren't doing their stupid Matt Jackson face. They were just serious. And they need to be serious heels. I love the fact that they can go on the outside of the ring, backstage area, like joke around. Oh, you're late. Oh, you're fine. We do whatever we want. But when they're in the ring, they're ruthless. That's the Bucks I'd like to see.
Yeah.
Ruthless.
Yeah. And speaking to your point on their character, because you said we're going to get back to it, the blood spot that they had last night.
Yes.
It meant so much more, because the shows lately, and this show specifically, hasn't been loaded with blood all the time. It was taking so much away. Obviously, they were wearing white on purpose so that it showed up more. I think that effect played well. I think they executed all that perfectly, the way that they did that. I feel invested. This is another match that I feel invested in going into Revolution.
Oh yeah, it just began. The feud just began. After the Bucks do win the titles, though, and this thing is gone, where do they go from there? Like just running through the tag team division, one after one after one. Do we see them be a transitional champion again? Like, I don't want to see that. I would like to see them actually go on a run and do something with these titles. And do you think Paige turning heel is kind of like, okay, the Bucks turn heel, so I'm going to turn heel. Maybe they can just pair those guys back together again.
It definitely leaves the door open for that. I don't know if that was done on purpose or if it's just where they felt each of their stories were leading them right now, and now is the right time for both. Could be coincidence. But I do like the fact that door is open down the road. So whenever they each finish up with their stories, if they need to all join together again, it's already right there laid out for them.
Did you notice Paige was the most jacked he's ever been in his life?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe Swerve motivated him. Swerve, with his promos saying, I want your spot. Like, you just don't even care for it anymore.
Never seen him so jacked. And I've been watching Being the Elite since the beginning. He's always been chubby cowboy guy with a little bit of muscle. Like, he works out, but he drinks a lot of beer.
Yep.
He looked so good last night. You can actually see muscle tone in Adam Page, and he looks like a star. So I love, if he's going to turn heel and be a real cowboy and do real cowboy shit, I'm in for it. I think that's going to be great. He doesn't need the Bucks. He can be by himself.
He could be. But like you said, down the road, Hangman runs through some people. Young Bucks run through some people. We're still enjoying their heel runs, but they're running out of stuff to do separately. They could get together, and then now they can start running through the trios division. So I think it's great the way that everything's kind of coming together.
What division? You have the top two guys, Bullet Club Gold and Scissor Boys, friends. Not interested in that story whatsoever. Zero interest.
No, you don't want the bullet scissors or what are they called now?
I just feel like the
Bang Bang Scissor Gang.
There are two main stories. You got Sting and Darby and the Bucks, and then you got the triple threat match. Focus on those two stories. Don't care about anything else. I don't care about anything else in the show. Jericho, Takeshita, nothing. I just turned the channel. Didn't want to watch it. Didn't care about it. Jericho's slow. Seeing all these photos of him on his cruise are embarrassing. It really, truly is embarrassing. Not just talking about the clown outfit, just everything.
No.
He just needs to go away.
So you're not going to be on the cruise next year.
Could you imagine that cruise? Could you imagine the type of people that go on that cruise, Chris? Yeah. Do you think I want to be associated with those jabronis? Those dirtbags who support Jericho? Listen, Chris, I told you this privately. My favorite wrestler turns out to be a piece of shit, just like yours, all right? We have something in common. I can help you cope and get through it, okay? I can help you. I've been there. I'm now in recovery. Jericho's actually not my favorite wrestler anymore, ever. So if you want to get rid of Rocky out of your life, get that toxicity out, I can help you.
Nope. He's doing great things for wrestling right now.
We want Cody.
No, we don't. We want The Rock.
We want Cody. We're gonna wrap it up though. That was a good conversation. Today, let's listen. Wrestling's going in a good place, ascending, right? Ascending. We're not descending anymore. Well, Dynamite is. No, Collision is. They're getting beat by some midgets. I don't know if you guys heard.
That. That's bad. That is bad.
They're beaten. Well, did you see? You gotta watch Botchamania. Then you'll understand why nobody watches Collision, because 90% of the show is just Collision morons. Yeah. They have like jobbers. They have people no one's ever heard of on Collision. I can't explain it.
It doesn't make sense when you have such a huge roster. How do you ever have the time to put jobbers on when you have a huge roster that a lot of them don't get enough time? There's time to be had. They're just not giving it to the right people.
There is, man. Hey, if you want more content like this, make sure you're here every single Thursday night, 7:30. We talk wrestling, AEW, now WWE because it's getting good. Maybe possibly TNA. Heard it's pretty good. I don't know about the Scott D'Amore guy, but there's news about him. I don't know who the fuck that is. I know that he was some guy there. Anyway.
He got fired.
Got fired. Follow me at Josh Kimmel US. Follow the network at Finstock Sports Network. Until then, guys, what do we say? We want Cody.